This NASCAR Daytona / Milwaukee DFS Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code RACESGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We are also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
We have made it to the end of the week, and surprise, happy surprise live stream. This is twice in a day, Cody, unprecedented territory. Here we are streaming for the DFS episode at night. However, if you're looking for it in your feed, it'll be there for you in the morning for sure. But yeah, happy Friday Eve now, but tomorrow will be officially Friday.
I mean, we're going to run into, the morning on Eastern time on the stream. So
True.
We're kind of like going across days and Thursday and Friday for you. So happy Friday, a little early, but hey, the Xfinity Series racing on Friday night. So got to get these in. Both have things going on tomorrow evening. So figured we'll jump on live, give you all a little late night treat, some DFS talk. Underdog lines are actually up this week for all three series when we're recording, so that's nice. So we're going to talk all that as well. I'm ready to go.
Indeed, got a lot to go over for the next couple of segments. Boji Joe checking in saying, "Go Bears!" Did they play?
Bears?
Was there a football game tonight?
Killing the Kansas City Chiefs. So we can all hope that is a sign of things to come as far as Kansas City losing.
Unfortunately, I've been, not unfortunately, because I love the back road, but I've been on the back road, so I haven't been able to watch any football today, which is fine. I do got to keep an eye out when my Red Blacks play because they are on a tear right now in the Canadian Football League. But yes, as Cody alluded to, we are here to talk DFS. We're here to talk underdog for the Daytona and Milwaukee weekend. First and foremost, cheers to everybody out there on that Friday. I found a beer that I found was fantastic. Dump Truck of the Gods. This guy looks like he's racing across someplace in Milwaukee. So I feel like this is apropos. I know it's not, but yeah, it just looked like a good sturdy racing beer to drink. So
I like it.
Getting my weekend started already.
I
all right.
like it.
So we already talked through all of the betting aspects of the series. Remember, like Cody said, it is Xfinity that is going to be tomorrow night. Or tonight, if you're listening on Friday, then it's Cup on Saturday night, and then it's Trucks in prime time, I guess, 1:00 Pacific, 4:00 Eastern. But yeah, kind of a backwards schedule this week, but we are here for it.
Yeah, it is a little different for sure. Yeah, don't forget about the Cup Series race being on Saturday night. Make sure you get your fantasy stuff in. Don't reserve your contests. Go to put in your lineups on Sunday morning and realize that you missed the race because that would be unfortunate. So Xfinity Series Friday night, Cup Series Saturday night, and then the Trucks middle of the day on Sunday. So a little bit of a different lineup, but give the Trucks their week to shine as they begin their playoffs. Daytona under the lights for both the other two series is the way to go. So I love it.
Indeed. Speaking of the way to go right now to the merch store. Everything in the merch store is 10% off with promo code football. I'd recommend getting you some of the snazziest sports gambling podcast network gear out there, or even better yet, racing gambling podcast. I'd look good on a hoodie, looks good on a shirt, looks good on a bag, looks good on a coffee mug, whatever you want out there that's racing gambling podcast, that you can find the logo on, get it on, put it on, wear it, save 10% now with promo code football. Plus, college football kicks off this week. Tune into Sports Gambling Podcast and the college football experience for week 0 picks and all your favorite futures. All right, we have reached the DFS portion of the week where we will give you, because all 3 series are in action, we will give you one pick each from the Xfinity, from the Cup, and from the Trucks. That's the order we're going to go in. Just a building block driver. It doesn't have to be a high price, mid-tier, or low price. We will just give you those drivers and who we think is the best building block out there for these series. Cody, I'm almost ready to just get to the picks. Like this is what we're here for tonight, right?
Thursday night, it's Friday morning, whatever the case may be. I say we just jump right into it. And yeah, I tried to go. So for my DFS selections, I can't recommend enough. Go back and listen to the betting episodes, because if we like betting on them, we're going to like playing them in DFS as well. So I tried to pick a few guys that didn't necessarily talk about as much on the betting side of things that I think are going to be good to highlight for the DFS side of things. So kicking it off with the Xfinity Series at Daytona, of course, we know. Survive, get to the end. That is the most important thing. That is what matters the most. I'm going to kick it off with Matt DiBenedetto, $6,800. Matt DiBenedetto, obviously a veteran of the sport, Cup Series driver for a long time. Kind of bounced around. Now he's found this new home in the Xfinity Series, Rod. He's really good on the super speedways. You go back to last week in Michigan. It's so weird to refer to Michigan as a super speedway, but for the Xfinity Series last week, it was a super speedway type of race. 7th place finish for Matt DiBenedetto. Very strong run there. You go back to Talladega, 8th place finish there. He wasn't in the Daytona race to open the seasons. He didn't have that deal done yet, so nothing there, but 7th and 8th in the 2 super speedway starts this season. That is very solid. You go back and you look at the Truck Series last season, 6th place at Atlanta. And I think I was just looking back through here. I think that was his only start. But so the last 3 times we've seen him in a super speedway, he has finished inside of the top 8. That's very solid. He won at Talladega in the Truck Series back in 2022. Previous to that, a 10th place finish at Daytona. And he did wreck out of the Atlanta race. So, that's going to happen sometimes. But majority of his races here lately have been really strong. Expect another good run from him. Again, he's kind of teammates with Ryan Sieg, who I expect to have a very good day, who's a very good DFS play as well. I think those guys could work together. And Matt DiBenedetto is going to be in the mix at 6,800.
Yep, I love it. The Matty D picks always make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, especially because the times I've tried to go against him are the times he's actually done well. So I will not besmirch the name of Matt DiBenedetto anymore, because when I do, it comes back to haunt me. So I'm with you on this pick. It is, of course, the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola, 100 laps around this 2.5 mile paved track for 250 miles. But as we've talked about all weekend long, you're not going to get a ton of lap leaders, at least one guy to go out and lead a bunch of laps. So you're just looking for some place differential, finishing positions, and, hopefully you get 30, 40 laps, maybe 20 laps in there as well. So definitely in for that. I'm going with my building block driver for the Xfinity, Shane Van Gisbergen. I know. Oh, wait, hold on. What is somebody has said? At least we're not getting Shane Van Gisbergen again this week on the broadcast. But no, Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, $6,900. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And a little wait there.
It's late at night, Rod. Come on. Jeez.
It is late at night.
That is a very nice price. I like that.
It is a very nice price. $6,900 for Shane Van Gisbergen. Honestly, I can tell you 3 things that I really love most about this. One, he's averaging 32 points, fantasy points per race. And the fact that Nico loves him and is up right now, which probably we're right in your wheelhouse now.
It's probably what? It's probably early morning over down under. So I always forget the time difference, but I want to say maybe 8:30 in the morning or so. Let us know, Nico.
Yeah, let us know what time it is, Nico. But yes, Shane Van Gisbergen, I love the fact that he's averaging 32 points, fantasy points per race, first and foremost. I love that he finished 12th place in his first ever Daytona race in the Xfinity Series. He started 5th in that race. I love that he finished 3rd in Atlanta after starting 13th in his second super speedway race. I put that in quotes. What I don't love is his 22nd place finish in Atlanta, or Talladega rather, and his 17th place finish in Michigan. But I will say SVG has just been learning. This guy has been a sponge as of late. He is just taking it all in, putting it just to good use. And I said it before, I said it again. The rest of the field has just better beware for when he actually does get it all put together, because I think we're in for a pretty exciting run from the Kiwi out there, SVG. So $6,900 for a guy that's averaging 32, 30. It's too late, Cody. You're too late.
I was on it that time, Rod.
Yeah, it's just too little too late. But for a guy that's averaging 32 fantasy points per race, and a guy that honestly is one of the surprisingly better super speedway drivers in the Xfinity Series already, you know he's good on road courses, got those 3 wins. This team, all they got to do now is just stay above board and turn in good finishes, because they're locked into the playoffs. And I think Daytona is going to be good to him again. So give me SVG, $6,900, my building blocks.
I like it. I was really close on my time guess. 8:30 in the morning was my guess. 1:37 p.m. on Friday afternoon. So I was just slightly off down there for Nico. He says he's hearing the 16s being Trackhouse prepared this weekend and next, which would not be surprising to me. I would not be shocked by that. And I like that. We talked about SVG on both shows this weekend for Xfinity and Cup. Like him in both series. I think he's going to be very strong in both. Spoiler alert, going to be talking about him next week in the Southern 500 too. I think that's going to be a great opportunity to get a top 10 bet in on him in the Cup Series. So already kind of looking forward to that. But I think he's going to be strong in both races this weekend, and he's going to find his way into both of my lineups for Xfinity and Cup quite a few times, I think.
Yeah, it's like, stop me if you heard that one before, but I think just can't ignore SVG in any aspects. And so if this is the only show that you listen to and you don't listen to the betting episodes, first of all, shame on you. No, just kidding. I love you. Listen to this show too. This show needs love. But no, really, if you didn't hear us talk about SVG in the betting episode, I think you just can't ignore him this week. I think he's going to be really good and a lot of fun to watch as he gets better on these super speedway races altogether. So, all right, we'll talk Cup in just a second, but first let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. We're going to tell you all about Underdog Fantasy, but right now Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 100x your entry, or you can play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. You can use boosts and specials now on all flexed entries. We're about to give you a ton of our favorite underdog plays for this weekend of racing, so hang tight and we'll give you everything you need to know and then some. So sign up with our promo code in the meantime, Race SGPN. You can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now is the best time to do it, so sign up with our promo code Race SGPN. Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. I don't wish this on you, but imagine the regret that you'd feel if you won your office survivor pool, but you didn't even bother to enter the Circa Survivor contest. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to anybody. Your family needs you, so go do that right now. And if you don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football, Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through August 24th. Use promo code SGP15 to save 15% on your hotel room for sign-up weekend. You can sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with a proxy. Go to proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP and a free hat. You love the way I say free hat, huh? It's
free hat. I love
free
it.
Hat. All right, Cody. Cup on Saturday. We have the Daytona race, the Coca-Cola, the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Sorry about that. That's 160 laps around this 2.5 mile paved track for 400 miles. That's not a lot of laps to be out there to be led, and probably won't get a lot of lap leaders either.
Yeah, again, and that's almost something you don't need to even focus on at all this weekend. It's all about place differential. Obviously, is going to be big, but finishing position is the biggest thing on the super speedways. You have to get to the end of these races. You have to be alive at the end. Rod, somebody that is 100% in his NASCAR Cup Series career on getting to the end of these Daytona races at only $5,700. John Hunter Nemechek did talk about him on the betting series earlier this week. Sure, we'll call it a series. We'll go with that. Talked about him earlier on the betting series earlier this week, Rod. He is very good at Daytona. He's only got 3 starts in his Cup Series career, but 11th place in both of his previous starts when he was in the 38 car, 7th in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. So you do like that. Atlanta, 21st place, not a bad finish there. Didn't quite survive Talladega, but had a second place finish last season at Daytona in the Xfinity Series in the spring race. So you like to see that as well. Only 5,700. He's a guy that's just not going to be on people's radars, right? He's just not done much this season, right? It hasn't been great. We know how much legacy has struggled, and just there's not a ton there. But he is sneaky good. He's been extremely good in his career so far. I think that could keep up again this week. So yeah, give me John Hunter Nemechek, 5,700.
Well, and you got to figure a lot of us are high on the 2311 cars. There's a few Gibbs cars that we actually are high on. One, Denny Hamlin knows how to get around this track. So you figure that the legacy guys can latch onto these Toyotas and do well. And I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, John Hunter, he's probably the one that I'm a little the most scared about. But like you said, 11th already, and he's done some good things there. So I like that. And I do like the fact that, like I said, these Toyotas, are going to be sticking together because you have to keep up with the Chevys. There's a lot more Chevys than there are Toyotas, and you can't just piecemeal it here and there. If you're going to stick together as a manufacturer, you're going to have to stick together as a manufacturer. So,
yep.
Speaking of Legacy Motor Club, I'll take the other Legacy Motor Club driver, and I'm going to take Eric Jones, because here's the thing. We talk about sticking together. That's what this whole thing is about. You have to find your friends, and you have to be able to run with them, right? We talk about RFK all the time, being right next to each other, especially on these super speedways. Same goes for these Legacy Motor Club guys. So I'm going to take Eric Jones. He is at $7,000. Not a bad price for a guy who has finished top 10 earlier this spring, right? He finished 8th place in the spring here at Daytona after starting 11th. There's not really all that much to sing about with Eric Jones as far as what he's fully capable of. But again, if you think John Hunter Nemechek is a good DFS play, then you got to take his teammate as well. I will say in 2023 in the fall, he started 24th, finished 18th. Not a bad DFS day for him. He's averaging 25.7 fantasy points per race, which at $7,000 comes out to, roughly 3, almost 4 times what you're paying for him. So I do like that aspect of it, because 3X on your investment's not bad. His last few finishes, 39 points, 15 points, 15 points, 38 points. So a couple of good ones in there as well. But for Eric Jones, it's just about being able to kind of stay out of the fray, being able to keep himself, like you said, Cody, there at the end, which, it's not really Jones's MO, but over the last 2 races, at least he's been able to do that. And so far this season, it's just been a mixed bag of results for Eric Jones, but he's always one of those guys that can just kind of pop up and get it done for you when you need him to. So, again, it doesn't feel sexy, but you definitely like both of these guys to pull through for you on the super speedway race. I know Atlanta, he started 37th, finished 25th. So there's some place differential for you as well. So yeah, I like Eric Jones at $7,000 for my Cup driver.
Yeah, I'm very big on Eric Jones. I gave out some bets on him earlier this week, so I will agree with you there. I think he's going to be really solid. He's a very good super speedway racer, very good at Daytona here in the past as well. So, yeah, you're not gonna get any arguments from me there. Also, it is a good idea, super speedways. While you do want to take it light and play it easy, a lot of different lineups is the best way to go. Spread them out, do a lot of cheap contests, whatever the case is. Stacking teammate. I mean, it gets to where it's like football. Stacking teammates is great. We saw in this race last year, it was Buescher winning and Keselowski pushing him to the win, right? So if you stack those guys, it ended out great for you. We saw at Talladega earlier this year. It ended up not going well, but you had 4 Toyotas all by themselves in a line. They all wrecked each other. Wouldn't have been good for your DFS lineup, but had their strategy worked out there, they were all 4 going to be leading that race later on, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, stack manufacturers, stack teammates as well is a way to go.
Normally we would bring out the wheel and we would just have the wheel for DFS, but this time we decided against it and we just give it the traditional way. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially how we always used to kind of approach it, is just spin the wheel, see who we get, and try to build a lineup off of that. But yeah, I mean, we fine-tuned it this time for you, but I still think the wheel is almost a better way too.
Yeah, I'll probably have my daughter draw a few numbers out of the hat to build some lineups too, just for fun. She likes that.
All right, what do we got for trucks there, Cody?
Yeah, moving over to the Truck Series featured race on Sunday. Got to shift your mindset now, Rod, because this is not a super speedway race. We're headed over to the Milwaukee Mile, short flat track. We got 175 laps in this deal, so some laps led to be had, some fastest laps to be had, and more of a quote unquote normal race. It's not going to be the chaotic super speedway type of race. I was a little bit upset. I mean, not upset because we were kind of in charge of how it works, but I didn't like that we didn't talk about Christian Eckes in the betting episode. There just wasn't. You had him in the number bet, right? The 10 to 19 that you got him included in there, which is a good way to get in on him, but wasn't a great way to bet on him. But I wanted to talk about him because I think he's going to be really strong. $10,500. He's expensive, but he's going to be worth it. Rod, we're 16 races into the regular season, so we've completed the full regular season. The playoffs is going to start, right? 16 races, a variety of places, right? Super speedways, road courses, short tracks, intermediates. How many races do you think that Christian Eckes has not led at least one lap?
I'm going to say 2.
0 would be the correct answer. 16 for 16. He's led at least one lap. A couple of those literally were one lap, but it's been one lap. He's also led all 150 laps at Nashville, wire to wire. Christian Eckes has been on fire. I'm just going to go through his stats the last few races, right? Richmond last time out, a shorter, flatter track, right? Finishes in second place, leads 64 laps. IRP the week before, short, flat track. Finishes in second place, leads 73 laps. Pocono, third place, leads 11. Nashville leads 150, wins the race. Gateway, only led 2, but finished in second for you. Charlotte, horrible day, only led 37 laps, finished in 10th place. Did start in 35th, though, so he ended up being good for your DFS lineup because he got a bunch of place differential. North Wilkesboro, short flat, leads 62 laps, finishes in 6th. Darlington, 4th. Kansas, 3rd. Texas, 4th. Martinsville, 1st. I haven't skipped any races, Rod. This is literally going in order. Martinsville, short flat, led 133, won the race. Road course, Circuit of Americas, 8th. Bristol, led 104, wins the race. Vegas, 6th. Then you had a 32nd and at Atlanta and 10th at Daytona to open the season. But since Atlanta, second race of the season, 1 8th place, 1 10th place finish for Christian Eckes. Everything else has been 6th place or better. And he's on a 5 race in a row podium streak. I don't think that's going to end this weekend. I think that he's very much alive to win this race, very much alive to lead all 175 laps. He's going to be a factor, and he needs to be in your DFS lineups.
How can one guy be that dominant?
It's like, it really, like when you look at the numbers, and that's why I wanted to go through the whole thing, because the entire thing is just insane how good he has been this year.
Well, and not to mention, like, if you look at what he's done, and he hasn't gotten a cup ride yet, or not a cup ride, but even Xfinity ride. Like, there's nobody talking to him about moving up to the next level. How is that possible? It's insane to think of a guy being that dominant and not getting a call somewhere. Boji Joe wants to know, Eck is cheaper than Ty. Yeah, he is actually by about $200. So it's not that much of a discount.
And Majeski is he's the favorite in everything this week, and DFS price included at 10.7. So again, Majeski, same thing we said on the betting episode. We weren't on him, but if you want to be, can't blame you for being.
I'm not going to talk you off of Ty Majeski. I mean, it's really what it is, but
Myron, 175 laps is a weird number of laps. It is weird. Like, why not go 150? Why not go 200? Why did we pick 175? I'm not fully sure.
I think it actually has to do with the Leuna
Is that
chapter.
Do they
that,
have? Maybe it's like 175. It actually means something to them.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Like where you are doing it with the sponsor. Otherwise, it's like, why not just go 150, 200, 175? Seems like a strange place to go. But if it ties in with Leuna, then makes more sense.
Yeah, I do believe it's one of the chapters that's out there. So they're honoring that chapter. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's
shout out to the 175ers.
175. Let's go. All right. Speaking of that race, I am going to go with my building block driver, and that's Tyler Ankrum. We talked about him briefly on the betting episode, but I don't think we necessarily. I took somebody over Ankrum, or you took Sammy Smith over Ankrum, right? I think is what it ended up being.
You took somebody over Ankrum. I think.
I was.
Yeah, you took Lane Riggs over Ankrum.
I did, but I said that both of them are going to do well, and I do truly believe that both of them are going to do well. Tyler Ankrum right now comes in I just clicked off of it because you guys had
$9,100.
$9,100. He's averaging 31.2 fantasy points per race. He finished 11th earlier in the season at Daytona after starting 5th. Not really the strongest of fantasy days for you there, 30 points. But he came back next week at Atlanta, scored you 44 points. He's just been one of those consistently decent drivers, 13.7 average finish. But over the last several weeks, 5th at Nashville, 4th at IRP, 6th at Richmond. You look at Talladega. Actually, they didn't go to Talladega. I was thinking Xfinity. My mind is like a million places at once right now. But for Tyler Ankrum, look at the last few weeks, right? 44 points, then 4. But before that, 46, 48, 44. Jesus Christ. Rod, slow down. Let's look at his last few finishes. 45th or 45 points. You're watching.
See what? This is why we record these DFS shows usually, huh?
This is why we don't do these shows late at night. I'll tell you that right now. All right, last few finishes as far as fantasy points are concerned for Tyler Ankrum. 45 points, 41, 19, 48, 26. Not bad for Tyler Ankrum. Like I said, we think he's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of where he's at on this Milwaukee Mile. He did have a 20th place finish the only time he's been on this track. But for Tyler Ankrum, you can't count him out for a good finish. And I think he's going to get there. North Wilkesboro, he's in 8th place. And like I said, the last few finishes have been pretty good for him. 3 top 10 finishes, 2 top 5s within the last 4 races. I think this is a good price for him. I think I'm definitely up on putting Tyler Ankrum up there at $9,100.
Yeah, hard to argue. I don't think he's going to be a very popular play, just because you're going to try and jam in a couple of those really high guys and slide right past him. But we know how strong of a truck he is in. It's playoff time to put up or shut up, and I think Ankrum could do that.
Yep. If you stuck with me through that entire thing, then kudos to you, because you have earned yourself every bit of whatever you're going to do this Friday if you stuck with that train of logic, because that one, the takeaway from this, guys, Tyler Ankrum, $9,100, lock it in.
Finished 45th place last week. Remember that. Out of 36 trucks.
36 trucks. That dude is talented as all get out. You know what else is talented? You. When you use the Rhythm predictive model. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model. Copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a myriad of stats, research, and trends and analysis to give you even more betting insights. And I guarantee you it makes better sense than me trying to explain to you why Tyler Ankrum is a good DFS play. Simplify your betting process. College football kicks off this Saturday. Been using Rhythm for golf and the WNBA all summer. Just built models so we actually know what to bet on in some of the random games of opening weekend. Never been more excited to watch Delaware State football in our lives, thanks to Rhythm. So claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. What is more insufferable than listening to me trying to explain my pick for DFS? Buying tickets. Yes, it is that bad. Buying tickets for your favorite concert, for your favorite sporting event, for whatever it is that you're trying to buy tickets for sucks. But make it suck a little bit less, because Game Time is giving you the opportunity to do that. They are giving you the Game Time guarantee, which means you're not going to get ripped off buying cheap or fake tickets from third parties that you don't know anything about. It's that dude in a trench coat standing outside of the door saying, "You want to buy some tickets?" They don't have any of that. It's all up above board. You're going to get lower fees. You're going to get better prices. You're going to get an app that's made for your phone, and you're not even worrying about trying to click off into some weird website somewhere else. You get zone deals. You get flash deals. You get all-in-one pricing, which means you're not going to get surprised when you click checkout by all these fees that they tack on at the end. It's just less stressful all the way around. And you don't have to listen to me while you do it, which is an added bonus. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code SGPN for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create that account, redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I'm wondering, and I'm waiting for the day when somebody says in the comments, Rod sounding like a Creole guy at the end of that needs to just stop.
It's all right, Rod. It's late. So should we move over to underdog side of things?
Boji Joe says, Rod, just tell me the name of the driver, please. That's, you know what? This is for sure.
Here's
love it.
Rod's pick. Tyler Ankrum, $9,100. All right, Cody, back to you.
Nico, Rod reciting ticket fan fiction. And then Boji Joe one more time. Cody, you should have Charlie Brown's teacher to fill in for Rod when he is. Yes, Cody, I believe it is now time to be able to get into our Underdog Fantasy picks. Of course, Underdog Fantasy, one of our fantastic sponsors. All you have to do is pick better than or worse than the finishing positions given to you by Underdog. And yeah, I mean, it's a super speedway, Cody. So I think I know what a lot of ours are going to be.
Oh, buddy, there is no better time to join the Underdog Fantasy Revolution than on Super Speedway Week. You can jump in, you can just smash all of the worse than projections, log out, log back in, and see all the money you made. Then you can turn around and put it right back into football. Let's fucking go, baby. I'm excited. Let's kick it off with the Xfinity Series, Rod. The number 81 car known as.
Oh, wait. Oh,
I got my own beep. Oh, I thought you had your arms all up there like you were on the button or something. So I was like, maybe he's got it set up. So I threw you the pitch.
Hit it
Weren't
again.
looking. That's okay. All right, Rod. The number 81 car driven by. Thank you. Not allowed to say his name currently, despite still holding championship ticket and wishing him all the best at Phoenix. Not this week, Rod. Worse than 8.5. Oh, this is like, it's like a miracle from the gods. You got to love it. Go back to last week, Rod. Michigan Super Speedway, 27th place. Sure, he was running good before that, but Kyle Larson runs good before that every week at Super Speedways and doesn't finish there. 25th place, or 27th rather, at Michigan last week, which is much worse than 8.5 if you haven't noticed. Talladega, 25th place. I will say to open the season, very impressive. 5th at Daytona, 2nd place at Atlanta. So he has the capability and the ability to get it done. But if you go back to last season, 12th place at Daytona, not better than 8.5. 25th at Talladega, not better than 8.5. 28th at Atlanta, not better than 8.5. Daytona, 22nd, not better than 8.5. Look, the way to go on all of these at super speedways is to take the worst than, because in the Xfinity Series, you're going to have 38 cars start this race, Rod. On a normal week, say we're going to Kansas, say we're going to Milwaukee, whatever it is, on a normal week, the number of cars out of that 38 that could finish in the top 8 and beat Chandler Smith here is what? 13, 14 cars maybe. Pretty small field that could finish better than that, right? And so that's why you would consider taking Chandler Smith. I should say his name. Oops.
I was slow on the
go back and edit that in the post, please. So just put a little marker in there. Need to bleep that. Dirty Mo goes back and bleeps all the cuss words. We go back and bleep the names we don't want to say. Anyways, but on a week like this at a super speedway, Rod, all 38 of those cars can finish inside the top 8. It just makes way more sense to go worse than. These guys get caught up in wrecks. Things go wrong. and just their draft in general. It can get you at the end. Could he finish better than this? Of course he could, but the chances of him finishing in the top 8 are just as good as the chances of him finishing 9th through 38th. You're obviously getting a much wider net on the other side. And despite a few outliers early in the season, over the last couple of seasons, it's not been great for him on the super speedway. So give me the worst then on number 81 at 8.5.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Again, I was not on the beat button fast enough, but yeah, again, and I love what you said too. There's a wider net on the other end of some of these numbers and these finishing positions, because I guarantee you right now, a lot of these are set much, much higher than I thought they would be set, right? Especially this one that I'm going to give right now. Ryan Truex, the number 20 car, his finishing position is projected at 9.5. What? 9.5. The 20 car is good. I understand that. I know that the 20 car is traditionally good, but Ryan Truex in the 20 car. I've got something to say about his brother in a little bit, but Ryan Truex, right? When you look at what he's done at Daytona, and this for real, this is not the Tyler Ankrum style of explaining what Ryan Truex has done at Daytona. When you look at what he's done at Daytona on the Xfinity Series, it's not as good as you want it to be, right? 21st, 12th, 13th, 7th, 31st. Only one of those has been better than 9.5, right? Only 1 in 5 has he been inside of that. And he's not even been close a couple of those times. 31st, the first time around in 2012. And then the last time out in the spring, he finished 21st in the 19 car. But you say, Rod, it's the 20 car. It doesn't make any difference to me, because listen to what he's done in the 20 car this season. Like I said, in Talladega, he finished 31st. Yeah, he won at Dover, but 27th at Portland, 19th at Pocono. I know Portland's a road course, blah, blah, blah. But this 20 car has not been the best car in the field like it was when, we saw John Hunter Nemechek driving it and all that other good stuff. So I honestly, when you look at Ryan Truex, you want him to do well. That's fine. But 9.5 is a pretty high bar for him to clear, especially when he hasn't really done it with any consistency at Daytona. So give me Ryan Truex worse than 9.5.
Yeah, no argument here. I mean, again, leaning towards the worst then is already the way that you're going to want to go on these. And I think you made a pretty strong case there.
Indeed. I know there's Ryan Truex truthers out there that are like, no, but whatever.
Why did they pick Ryan for this race? Let me introduce you to my friend Money. Well, he's not really my friend, doesn't ever hang out with me, but Money. This is one of the races that he bought. I mean, it's really as simple as that with that car. Like it's sold to the highest bidder. It probably worked out for him to get sponsorship deal for this race or whatever, but and feels like he has a chance to win it. So that's the reason that he gets in this car. Wait, JB with the hard-hitting question on late night here. Let's go. Cody, Rod, what are your go-to snacks for watching racing? Rod, I'll let you go first.
So I am a huge fan of nachos. I love, and it is just as simple as me heating up some of maybe the, Totino's queso, or just now I've been buying the can of that nacho cheese stuff that like they sell at concession stands, and just pouring it over chips. And then if I get like really crazy, I'll make some taco seasoning with some ground beef and put that on there. But yeah, I love me some nachos. That's a go-to right there.
Yeah, I mean, queso is the if you're gonna sit down and watch any sporting event or just sit down and breathe, and you can have chips and queso, like that is the absolute best way to go. So I'm definitely gonna go with that. Otherwise, I don't know. I eat a lot, as you could you can't really see that part of me on the screen, but I eat a lot, but I'm not a big snacker. I don't know. I more go for the meals and eat plenty of the meals. So I like some wings. That's always the go-to. But yeah, queso. We always have some variety of queso laying around, whether we've made some, whether it's the stuff in the jar, doesn't matter. Cheese and chips is good almost any way, except for the way that Miranda on Old Fashioned Football eats them.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard this whole thing, Rod, but
I have.
she bathes her chips. It's like she sets a chip in the cheese and then comes back to it minutes later. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, the show's great. Love Miranda, but her take on queso is horrible. So
She loves that. I mean, the only reason I do that is when I forget, and then I come back and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to eat it because I'm not going to let this go to waste. So,
all right, Rod.
Let it go to waste, Cody. There's one.
Yes. You can't let this go to waste. This is the play of the week, the play of the century. This is the one you got to get in on. Look, I was nice on the betting episode. I made a case for a bet for him. I hope that you go back and listen to that because it's the first time I've ever placed a bet on him on a super speedway. And this is a way to fade him, which is what you really should be doing. Rod, they have Kyle Larson's worse than set at 8.5. Let me take you on a little walk through Kyle Larson on super speedways, Rod. He has 44 career starts in the NASCAR, Coke, Monster, Geico, Busch Light, Sprint Cup, Monster, Winston Cup Series. 44 starts on super speedways. Once, uno times has he finished inside top 5 on a super speedway in 44 starts, Rod. Yes, hung money, Boji Joe. I don't know if you heard that on Door Bumper Clear earlier this week, but that was pretty funny. Yeah, hung money, not so hung on super speedways, Rod. So let's take a look. What's he done at Daytona? Maybe he's been good here, right? Daytona 500, 11th place. This is actually a great day for Kyle Larson. Hell of a run. Not better than 8.5. What about his dual race? Maybe he finished 9th place. Okay, not better than. Last fall, 27th. Not better than. Just stop me when we get to a better than, Rod, okay? So we're 8.5 is the number, so 8th or better is what we're looking for here. February of 23, 18th. August of 22, 37th. February of 22, 32nd. August of 21, 20th. February of 21, 10th. February of 2020, 10th. July of 2019, 20th. February of 2019, 7th.
Stop,
Oh,
Cody.
God, we finally got there. February of 2019. Prior to that, so just the easy way to look at this. One time in the last 14 starts at Daytona has Kyle Larson finished better than 8.5. Kyle Larson's the greatest race car driver in the world, Rod. Me and Kramer had this argument on Sports Gambling Podcast all the way back in May before it was a cool conversation to have. You can go find that clip over on the YouTube. But it's just Kyle Larson is not good at super speedways. I made the case for him to lead some laps because he will look good throughout the race. You're going to be thinking to yourself the whole race, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Kyle Larson looks really good to me. He's making all kinds of moves. He looks good. It might be with 2 laps to go. It might be in overtime. But you're going to look up, and that number 5 car is going to be sideways, smashed into the wall, and you're going to say to yourself, wow, he didn't finish better than 8.5. He's now 1 for 45 in his entire career. As JB says, wow, yes, it is actually impressive how bad he is on super speedways.
Hey, Max Verstappen agrees that he's the best driver in the world, or he's.
He didn't argue against it, so I think that's the same as agreeing.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's great. Okay, fine. Let him be the best driver in the world. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep making all the money I make, and we'll be good to go." But yeah, again, it's the one commandment. I know people hate it. I know there's a lot of folks out there that hate that commandment, but when the numbers talk, the numbers talk.
Hey, I stand behind Larson all the time. I mean, I picked him last week to win. He is the best driver. He's the most talented driver. Now, he pushes things too hard, which is probably part of his issue at super speedways. But the numbers don't lie. I mean, if he goes out and wins, and I missed out hitting him at 20-1, wow, we don't ever get a chance to bet him at 20-1. I'm not going to feel like I missed out. I don't care. He's 1 for 44 in the top 5 in his career. He's just not any good at it, and he'll admit that. I mean, he knows that he's not good, and maybe he'll get lucky sometime, and maybe he's going to lead his 6 laps and cash us a 4-1 ticket and then wreck. That's the most likely scenario because that's what happens a lot.
Hey, if I'm pitching to a guy who's 1 for 44, I'm not trying to get cute and throw curveballs. I'm hitting him straight with a bunch of fastballs and see if he beats me, he beats me. But he hasn't beaten 43 other folks. Yeah. So what makes him think I'm not going
to? Well, and like that's the thing at this point in time. I've done this, in this case, the fantasy projection worse than, and bet on it multiple times worse than, not quite 44 times, but quite enough times that if I get beat once every now and then, it's not a big deal.
No, it is not. All right. Guess what? Boji Joe fade his brother too. Speaking of Ryan Truex, fine. I will fade Martin Truex Jr. as well. His projected finishing position is 11.5. Oh, man. Give me the worst then in this one too. Cody, I'm going to read off finishes from 2021 Daytona 500. Stop me when you hear one that is better than 11.5. 2021 Daytona 500, 25th. In the fall, 29th. In the spring, 13th. In the fall of 2022, 8th. Okay, you can stop me there. But the next race after that, 15th, 24th, 15th. It's not, 11.5 is too high. 15, if this was like 13.5, I might get a little bit on the side of, okay, well, maybe he could finish a couple more over. But this is 11.5, and this is definitely not territory. He's got to get at least a 10th place finish, which he hasn't done in a very long time. Like I said, in the spring, 15th place finish. Atlanta, 12th place finish. Talladega, he did get an 11th place finish, but Talladega and Daytona, they're super speedways, yes, but they're still different animals in that, Talladega offers a lot different type of racing than does Daytona. So, but he barely squeaked in over 11.5, right? So I'm not necessarily all that encouraged by a Daytona number. So this season alone has been kind of not good for Martin Truex Jr. as that concerned. But what's really more disheartening, right, is you just look at the last few finishes. And I don't care that these are super speedways. I don't care that anything can happen on super speedways. We're talking the trajectory of Martin Truex Jr.'s last season. 24th at Nashville, 33rd at Chicago, 8th at Pocono. Great, but he's supposed to be good at Pocono, right? 27th at Indy, 37th at Richmond, and then 24th at Michigan. It's just not good for Martin Truex Jr. Boji Joe saying, remember when MJG couldn't win on short tracks? Now he can't win on super speedways. Boji, he almost can't win on anything right now. He is looking pretty bad and already
retired just to win on anything, right?
That's what I'm saying. When that retirement packet goes in, that's where we're at. So he didn't win at Richmond this season, did he?
Not this year.
I was like, he won at Richmond. Yeah.
I think you might be talking about when, because it used to be a thing. Martin Truex could not win short tracks. He was so he would lead a bunch of laps, get so close, he'd never win. Now he's won like a million short tracks, but yeah, he's not any good at super speedways either. Like he's basically the next guy after Kyle Larson that I look to fade because he's just not very good at them.
Yeah. And 11.5, you're like, oh yeah, Martin Truex Jr. definitely a top 10 driver. Maybe. Yeah.
But it goes back to the analogy of earlier, right? How many guys could actually finish in the top 10 on a week-to-week basis in the Cup Series? Probably 20, on a good day, 23 of them, right? But in this race, there's 40. 39. I'm not going to count the 44 car. 39 of these cars could fit. Okay, the 44 car could do it too, Rod.
Yeah, never besmirch the name of the 44 car, but yeah. No, I get it, and that's where we're at. But yeah, I still think Martin Truex Jr. and his brother are not going to finish inside the top 10. Therefore, Martin Truex Jr. worse than 11.5.
Yeah, sorry to the Truex family if you're listening to this, but hey, we're here to speak the truth, and that's what we do. So
Indeed.
That's how it goes. All right, Rod, shifting gears again, going away from the super speedway racing. Sunday, Truck Series on a Sunday. I keep saying it because it's great. It is great. I love it, but not on a super speedway. So we're approaching this completely different than these other ones, right? Grant Enfinger is at 5.5. Are you fucking kidding me, Rod? Let's fucking go. He's been top 6 in 6 of the last 7 races. 5 of those top 5. He has 5 top 5s on the entire season, and all 5 of them are within the last 7 races. He won this race last season. He just finished 4th at Richmond. He finished 3rd at IRP. He finished 2nd at North Wilkesboro a few weeks ago, another short flat track. He led 95 laps when he won here last year of the 175. Really, really good. We talked him up a lot over on the betting episode. If you haven't listened to that yet, Rod gave him out for a top 3. I gave him out for a top 5. I also gave him out to win the race. All of those, I think, are great bets. Little mini car lift for the Truck Series there. Grant Enfinger, better than 5.5. Easily my favorite one in the Truck Series. There's quite a few I like in the Truck Series, actually, and might have to go with some extra underdog videos for some more of this. But, yeah, Grant Enfinger, 5.5, just like he doesn't have to finish in the top 3. He just has to finish he doesn't even have to finish in the top 4 because it's set at 5. It's set at 5.5, allowing him to finish all the way back in 5th, which is probably a bad day for Grant Enfinger this weekend. So, yeah, I really, really like this one for Grant Enfinger, better than 5.5.
It's crazy. We talked about it in the betting episode too earlier today, as a matter of fact, that his season was it started so, it just was confusing because we know Grant Enfinger is a good driver and switched teams, and now you got to get back into new digs. But whatever they're doing lately, they have definitely done the right things because they're hanging with the Eckeses of the world. They're hanging with the Heims of the world. They're actually making themselves a valid contender for the championship. And so this momentum, I don't think is going to slow down. And I'm with you. I think Grant Enfinger is going to be a contender to win this race. Definitely a top 5 truck by the end of the day. So I love this better than, again, we're approaching this differently. And so we'll approach it differently in that aspect as well, because I will also take a better than. Now I'm back on my happy-go-lucky self, right? I hate taking the worst things. It always makes me feel yucky. But I'm going to take better than. I'm going to take Nick Sanchez, better than 7.5. This is kind of a low number. I know that we were a little down on Sanchez in the betting episode. I know I took a head-to-head against him. But it wasn't as if I didn't think that he was going to have a good day. I just thought that the driver I took against would have a better day. Nick Sanchez started second in this race last year. There's only been one race in the recent history of the Truck Series. I think the last one before that was 2012 or something like that. So in the modern history of this, Matt Crafton remembers that much, I tell you. But yeah, Nick Sanchez has only run this race once. He did start second, unfortunately finished 24th in that race. But just look at what he's done this season overall. You take a look at his finish at Gateway, 3rd place. He won Charlotte, 2nd at Darlington, 6th at Kansas, 3rd at Texas after starting on the pole, 4th at Martinsville. So some solid finishes, 7 top 5 finishes in 16 races. That's not a bad ratio, right? It's a little under half. That's kind of not all that great, but his average finish is 9.4. He's just going to be there. He's just going to be around. And I honestly think that this is a good race for Nick Sanchez and that he could probably get into the top 7, right? This is an instance where I don't think he's going to finish in the top 3. Top 5 might be a stretch, but just outside of the top 5, 6th or 7th, I think he can get there. And if he does finish in the top 5, all the better. I'm okay with that. That makes me happy too. But yeah, I think Nick Sanchez better than 7.5 in this race is a good call.
Oh, this one's a tough one for me. I made a case against Nick Sanchez. I think he's going to be around a 7th to 10th place car, but I think 7th is kind of the ceiling for him. So I don't know that I love either side. But hey, you do you, Rod.
I am doing me. I'm taking a stand, and I'm saying Nick Sanchez will have a pretty decent day at 7th place. And if that's it, if it's a 7th place finish, then so be it. That's all we need, right?
Bingo.
Yep. All right. Get out your pen and paper. I forgot to get all the way. We got to go all the way back to the DFS episode, but that's fine. We'll go back to the DFS picks, and we'll circle back into the underdog. But get your pen and paper out. We'll go over our DFS picks for this weekend of racing. Cody started you out with Matt DiBenedetto at $6,800 for his Xfinity building block driver. I said SVG at $6,900 is my building block driver. And then Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek at $5,700 for his Cup building block. I said his teammate Eric Jones at $7,000 would be my building block driver. Cody gave you Christian Eckes at $10,500 for his Truck Series building block driver. I said Tyler Ankrum at $9,100 is my building block driver for the trucks. Cody in the underdog said that the number 81 would be worse than 8.5. I said the number 20 would be worse than 9.5, which is Ryan Truex. Then Cody gave you Kyle Larson worse than 8.5 for his Cup Series underdog pick. I said that Martin Truex Jr., damn these Truexes, would be worse than 11.5.
Take every worse than on the Truexes you can find.
If it's a Truex name, just click worse than. Doesn't matter what the finishing position is. So Martin Truex worse than 11.5 for my Cup. Cody gave you Grant Enfinger better than 5.5.
I like the Christian Eckes better than too, but
I know, me too. That's why I read it like
There you go. Bonus play for you. Christian Eck is better. Was he at 3.5?
Yeah, it's pretty up there, but I'll still
3.5, but better than.
All right, and then Nick Sanchez for me, better than 7.5. Boji Joe saying, thanks you guys again, and good luck to all of us. Hey, thanks for hanging with us this late at night for those of you who are on the East Coast.
We appreciate it. Another good reason to go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Never know when we'll pop in your in your feed at late at night and give you a little bonus action ahead of time.
Yeah, we did talk about, should we record this? Should we go live? Hindsight, we probably should record. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, it was fun to go live.
I love the live interaction's always so much better. I don't love it when we have to record. Sometimes just how it works out. But yeah, we figured as long as we don't publish it till tomorrow, we pretty much do whatever we want anyways. They don't care. So
this is definitely true. Although, by the way, chat, if you want to talk to each other, that's also encouraged too. You don't have to just talk to us. You guys can carry on conversations with each other in there as well.
Sometimes the conversations get pretty deep in there, and
it's true. It's true. Only if you bring your nachos. I'm about to go make myself. I told my wife I was going to make nachos, and I didn't. So now I am a liar.
Better watch out. The divorce papers might be sliding under the door any second, Rod.
Cody, get us out of here so I can make the nachos.
Go get those nachos made, Rod. Jake checking in. I was just giving him shit in our fantasy league. He's holding up the fucking draft. Way to go, Jake, the merch god. Just here to say Cody's fantasy team is trash. It's weird. I don't know if you know that little badge next to that team that's drafted right now, Jake. That means I'm last year's champion. Thank you very much. Go see Jake for all of your wonderful merch store needs.
Hey, I've been holding up drafts for the better part of this summer.
I think you might be in that league too, or maybe it's
I am.
I'm in a lot of, I have like a lot of drafts going on at the same time, but
I did not make any friends in my Scott Fishbowl draft because they did not like it's an 8-hour clock, and I was on an Army weekend for a better part of it.
Rod's the one that's always like getting to the very end. I'm texting him. I'm like, you got 5 minutes left on the clock. Go make your pick.
And so then I'm just like, I don't care. What's the last guy on the list? Okay, that's mine. I got him. Mine. I got my guy.
Nico checking in with the F1 rain update, 50% chance of rain, good petting time. Make sure you go check out the F1 Gambling Podcast as well. Rod and I did that earlier this week. And then, Rod, follow me over on the X, at @Husker_Zeeb. Lots and 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 lots of stuff out over there. Go check it out. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we'll see you next week. Good luck this weekend on all of your bets, all your fantasy stuff. And have fun. Super Speedway, baby. It's the best way to go.
I surround myself with the hardest working people in the industry. That's why it makes me and pushes me and makes me continue to do it. So follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. There's the link in my bio to everything I got going on, trying to keep up with Cody because it's exhausting. Find out all that stuff there. Sportsbook Review. Check out the Back Road. Me and Tino. This is why it's too late. Tino holding it down over there. It's Friday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. No, we'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah, I almost did it too, Rod.
I knew what I was doing that time. But enjoy the weekend of racing. We'll see you on Monday for the recap. And until then, let's go racing. Get us the hell out of here and let it ride.
Another piece of